Hello, it's review time again, and today, or tonight, depending on when you're viewing this video, we are having a look at a model made by the well-known Hornby. Yes, we are looking at more Hornby, but the model we are looking at today is really unique, and it's not just the model that's unique, but it's the real life counterpart as well that is unique. And if you haven't figured it out what it is, from the drawing of the box, it is a GWR Railcar. Actually, I don't even know why I've said that. You've read the title and you've seen the intro, so you knew what it is already. But anyway, this GWR Railcar is in chocolate and cream livery. I know it does not say that on the box, but trust me, it is. And it's number 29, and the reference number is R2524. And this is, oh, bad focus there. This is brand new, and it's just arrived from S&J Models. I know that's hard to believe considering it's new, so-called, but trust me, it is new. I know that it might not look new because, that's what I tried to say earlier, but the words just didn't come into my mouth right. There are marks on the box. But that's only because when trying to open the parcel up, it was actually tricky, and the scissors obviously dug them into the parcel and touched the box, basically. But the box is not the most important thing anyway, because we're not really interested in the packaging, we are more interested in the model. Now, Hornby did do several of these. They did this one in chocolate and cream livery. Well, they did various ones in chocolate and cream livery. They did one in BR green, and they also did some in carmine and cream livery as well, which is similar to this livery, but the only differences are instead of a white roof it has a grey roof, and instead of the chocolate brown it has a maroon colour. But those are the only differences. And then there's the express parcels one, which I don't really like, to be honest, because I'm not fond of them. Reason is because with these ones you can stick a driver and passengers on the inside of this. With the express parcels one you can't. But then I don't really see the point of the express parcels one anyway. Yes, they did exist in reality, but they just don't really do it for me. And also, Dapple have confirmed several of these, being the streamline ones. Now, I don't know if they will be produced because, well, they have made several bubble cars, or are supposed to, for that matter, but it's now being speculated they may not be happening. So I don't know what the story is with the GWR Railcars, but it could be the same. Wouldn't surprise me. Now, these brand new can fetch to 50 quid, depending where you get them from. This one was 50 quid. Considering it was brand new and never been used. But you do get a lot of detail on it. But anyway, enough with the talk, let's get it open. And you will notice the light has slightly changed. But, never mind, that's not important. Well, it's not important that the light has changed. But anyway, do excuse the rude plane going over. Okay, so here's the typical standard Hornby box. Nothing special. And here's the card insert, which hasn't really got a lot interesting stuff on. Other than the drawing of the railcar, which is nice, but you know, that doesn't really excuse anything. Then, now, here we have the ever so increasingly pointless DCC jacket, and I don't know why it's been shoved in this side of the box here. That's something I'd expect, where they stick details in, but of course the model doesn't have any details applied, if what I've said made any sense, because I said it a bit fast, but oh well. But yeah, I mean, these are pointless. Then we have the instructions for the GWR Railcar, or as the instructions just say, diesel railcar. It should say GWR Railcar. But I suppose if you wanted to, or saft enough, you could write GWR on there, but that's up to you. And it's basically body removal, lubrication, and where to fit the chip. That's all they pretty much say. Must be a world record for instructions. Then all that's left to do is to take the model out of the box. Now, this is the packaging that we know and love, because this packaging from Hornby really is terrible. And as you can see, yes, it's the two-hold finger job, as some people like to call it. Okay. So there's the box. Take that to one side, and then all we need to do now is to take the tissue paper off the model. Now, look at this. Why can't Hornby use neat tissue paper like this all the time? I know I don't even like the tissue paper anyway, but it would be nice if they actually used stuff that was more neat. But of course, now it is slowly being phased out. But off comes the tissue paper, and here is the model. Wow. Just look at this. I mean, where do we start? Well, for starters, there's a lot of weight in this. I know it's hard to believe, but trust me, there is quite a lot of weight in this, considering it's just a rail car. And there is no traction tyres on the model, but then it's not going to need them anyway. Do be careful with that bogie though, there is some slight oil on it. So, no traction tyres, but then it doesn't need it anyway, because you won't really see it on a nowadays model. Not very often anyway. I mean, I've not come across any, so I could be wrong. But anyway, so this is the first formation of the GWR Railcar they brought out. Sorry, this is the first formation of the GWR Railcar they brought out, being that it has big fat chunky couplings instead of NEM couplings. Although, can these be removed? Possibly. They could be. No, they're not. And you saw me try to there, but then, never mind. You can always get some pliers on and cut them off, which is what I might do to this one. I don't know. I did it with the Class 121 bubble car in BR Green, because I have no intention of coupling that to anything, but I have actually seen this coupled up to GWR livery auto coaches, bizarrely. So I might leave them on and do that at some point, which I think will be a really good idea. And I know that some people do not like these couplings, but oh well. I mean, I still like them because they are useful and they actually do the job for what they are. But if you don't like them, that's your problem and not mine. Okay, so bogie detail. Now, it's not actually basic, because you get these here, which resembles sanding gear on steam locos. You get the axle boxes, which are there, some rivets on the bogies, and the springs. Now, I know that there's nothing painted. Oh, let's get rid of the crap on the side there. I know that none of the bogies have painted bits on them, but to be fair, these in reality do not have any painted bits on the bogies anyway. So it's somewhat pointless to have them, but if you had a problem with that, then you can always, well, you know what to do. Just paint bits and pick bits out if you want, but it is pointless. This bogie, however, is slightly different. That's because this doesn't look like it, but in reality is actually a sort of exhaust. Because as you've seen, there are no exhausts on either end of the unit. That is because it's there. And that's what it is in reality. Because I've seen these in reality, that's where the diesel fumes comes out of. And it's really nice that Hornby have captured that on the model. I don't know what the story is with the Lima ones, because I don't know a fat lot about them. All I know is they aren't much detailed and they have ring-filled motors. But considering this is an ex-Lima model, they have done a better job than Lima would ever do. And of course there's more rivets on the bogies. Some more fine detail there, which is fragile, so you must be careful with it. And springs as well. Now, what else is there? Now, the buffers are not sprung. Some people will complain about that. But to be quite honest, sprung buffers... Sorry, they're not the camera. Sprung buffers are only there for play, really. It's nice to have them, but they're there for play only. That's because you're only going to be messing with the sprung buffers when you're actually holding the model. When it's running around the layout, let's face it, you're not going to be messing with the sprung buffers. And I don't like the idea of what people do by running them into buffer stops just to test how sprung loaded they are. And that includes the buffer stops known as the hydraulic buffer stops with sprung buffers, and I don't see the point of those. But another reason why these buffers aren't sprung is because actually, coming back to the instructions, it does actually show you that in order to get the body off, you pull the buffers off, and it's exactly the same technique with the Lima Class 47s. And I actually think that is a cool idea. Some people will not think that, but you can't please everybody. There is also some small detail on the buffer beams though. I know it might be basic, but hey, it's there. There's also some lamps, oil lamps on the front there. Only the two at the bottom are painted and the others are left out, but you could paint them if you wanted. And I do believe that you can actually drill lights into them. Or should I say fit working lights in them, sorry. But these really do look more fiddly to fit working lights into. Because they look very flimsy to do so, so I will not be fitting working lights into this. But there is proper wipers on the windows. They're not just left unpainted, they are painted. And this is the same story on both sides as well. There is no destination boards on either end of the model either. But then it's the same story with the ones in real life anyway. But if you were fussed, you could put one on, but then it would look unrealistic. Now there is cab detailing on this end of the cab. And considering where the motor is hidden, which is here, in fact there is actually cab detailing in this end as well, considering the motor is hidden just here where the guard compartment is. And that's surprising actually, because with the Class 121 bubble cart there's only the cab detailing in the one end. But never mind. The number 29 is crisply printed on the model all around on both sides, and it's accurate fonting as well. Just look at the embossed on that. Then you've got some grills on the underframe which are very nicely detailed, and just look at the lining that you get on the model. It's just stunning, and it goes all the way around the body. This is why I went for a chocolate and cream one, because I don't have any chocolate and cream Railcars or DMUs, and it's really stunning because it's very unique. You've also got the GWR logo on the front there, as you can see, which is accurate, and that is on both ends where the cabs are and both ends on the side, and that is a really nice touch. And it's details like that that make it look more realistic. There's also some riveting on the body as well, as you can see. Doors, now actually either side where the passengers go into, there's only two doors. And where the guard gets into, right, sorry about that then, I got interrupted by a bee. So as I was saying, passenger door wise, you only get one on each side, and you only get one door either side here, or doors should I say. And I do believe these are the guard doors, or the doors that the driver could get into. But less doors, this is accurate on the real life counterpart. They only have very few doors, and I don't know how successful that would be in reality during the heyday, because people will definitely be queuing up just to get inside one of these. But either way, now we do have nice flushed glazing in all windows, so it doesn't bulge out unrealistically, and it's not tinted either. It's see-through, just like how it should be. And the seats that go all the way down the unit. On the roof, it's actually very nice detailed. It's painted white, obviously, and you've got all these bumps on the top, just like how it should be. I know it's not the most interesting thing to look at, because, well, let's face it, when it's running around the layout, you're only going to really be looking at what's on the side of it, the livery and all that, if you take my meaning. And what else is there to say? Oh yes, this is what makes this DMU, well, Railcar actually, get it right, unique. It's the air smoothed bodywork, because these were nicknamed Flying Bananas in reality, but this is not the original air smoothed casing. It was actually curved at the front like that at both ends. And of course, these bits here, they're basically similar to that of what the A4s had. They were like a valance type thing. But of course, they changed it to this. I don't know why, I've not been able to find that out, so if any of you know, comment below. 3 of these are now in preservation, one of which, number W20W, is the only one that carries the original air smooth casing. The other 2, number 22, which is a Didcot, and is the only one that's in operational condition, and I have seen this in reality, and I have actually rode on it as well. You can find it on YouTube. It was a few years back, and I went to Didcot when they did the steam rail motor launch day. And that is basically why I went for this livery, because it is the exact same livery that number 22 carries, or as it would be known originally, I do believe, W2W, something like that, I don't know. Actually, what am I on about? Number 22 is its original number. Duh. But yeah, that is why I went for this particular livery, because it's exactly the same one that number 22 has. I know it's not number 22, but, you know, who cares? If you wanted number 22, you could always get this one and renumber it, or go for the Lima one. But I will tell you now, the Lima one is poor. I think Hornby actually did do a number 22 GWR Railcar, I'm not 100% sure on that. And these are actually the modern day version of the steam locos, because they lasted from 1933 right up to the 1960s, where at that time more modern DMUs and railcars such as the bubble cars, 121s, 101s, 108s, 117s, all that, they replaced these. There's also another survivor, which is number W22W, which is at the Kenton Sussex Railway, which is still undergoing repair. I don't know when it's due to come into operational service yet, but it would be nice to have more than one in service. In fact, number 22 actually used to belong to the Severn Valley. I'm not sure why it's at Didcot now. I think that's really weird. But it did used to belong to the Severn Valley. And a few of these were actually made into 3-car DMUs. Only a few, actually being 2, that rhymes. What they did was, they chopped one of the cabs off and put a gangway corridor connection on and extended the guards compartment a bit. And they did that with 2 of these, and they sandwiched a GWR standard coach in the middle. And so that formed a DMU. That particular one doesn't survive, but you know, these do look better in rail cars rather than DMUs. Nobody's made a manufacturer model of that, but if you was a willing modeler, you could always modify one of these to it. But you know, you could always ask Hornby if they could make it, because they are taking some suggestions, believe it or not. And that's actually basically about it, to be honest. This is a fantastic model. I'm sure there's some out there that are going to disagree, but I don't care. It is fantastic. I recommend everyone should have one. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Look at the handles and doors. Yeah, they're basic, but they're painted. And just look at that. They stand out well. And that's on every door as well. And you actually do get the... I'm trying to think what they're called now. Latches, that's it. They're moulded on there too, which is realistic. And as I said at the beginning, the thing you can do with these is, do excuse the grubby marks, I'll get rid of them later. You can stick a driver in the cab and passengers in the inside of this. And that is what I will be doing with this one. In fact, I will be doing that sometime this week. Probably a day or two after I've got this video uploaded onto YouTube. And that will be a how-to video, and that will be using this. The GWR Railcar Flying Banana. And that will look really cool with a driver in the front and some passengers on the inside. And I will be using these. I have 2 of these, which is a total of 20. I have 40. I won't be using all of these, but some of them will be going into this GWR Railcar. And that will look immense. And I also do plan to put seated passengers in my Chiltern Railways Class 1 to 1 as well. But that's not going to happen until I finally get the working head and tail lights from Rail Express Models, as some people like to call it, but I just prefer to call it Express Models. But anyway, let's put it on the tracks and see what it's like. Right, so I'm now putting the GWR Railcar onto the tracks, without the passengers and the driver inside it, but it will do soon, I promise. Okay, now that was quick. That was like a 2-minute job, something like that, but it's on. And so, let's get it running. Now bear in mind, this is not going very fast. I will max out the power in a bit, but for now, it's just a test to see how she's coping. And I'm pleased to say there's no grinding noise. It's not struggling around bends or anything. Just look how smooth it is. There she goes through the tunnel. Do excuse the construction that's going on. As you can see, we are starting to plan out the engaged track that's going on. As you can see, some's already added on it. But back to the rail car. So even though it's a low setting, she's coping really well. Well, let's just max out the power out a bit. Yeah, as you can see, this is much better. So, what else is there to say about it? Well, nothing really. I definitely recommend it. I know it may not be to everyone's taste, but I still recommend that you give them a go. There's no harm in trying something new, because you may like them. I'm definitely glad I got one of these, and she's going to make a great addition to the layout. And now the next step is to get those seated passengers and driver in. Marvellous.